Good evening, everybody, and welcome to RAMP, Real Access Motivates Progress, live Wednesday night podcast. Welcome to 2022, and we are kicking off this year with some exciting guests and a great show, and we are talking Rhode Island small businesses with the Rhode Island Small Business Coalition. So I'd like to welcome Jennifer and David to our show, and thank you so much for joining us tonight, guys.
Hi, Tina. Thank you for having us.
Tina.
I would love for you guys to each take a moment to introduce yourself and what your relationship is to Rhode Island small businesses. Jennifer, let's start with you.
Hi, so I am Jennifer Ortiz. I am the owner of Executive Cuts, a barbershop in downtown Providence for 17 years now. So a little bit of experience in being a small business owner. And when the pandemic hit, I, like many other small businesses, didn't know what to do and started the cause with, at the time, Lieutenant Governor McKee. And from there, the Rhode Island Small Business Coalition formed. And I met Chris. And from there, we've just evolved to what we are now, which has been a whirlwind for sure.
I can't even imagine. I mean, 2 years of craziness, but you guys have done so much. David, why don't you take a moment to introduce yourself and what you do?
Sure. Thank you, Tina. Happy New Year. My name is David Dudakian, and I own Eat Drink Rhode Island. I've been a small business owner for over 20 years. I have had Eat Drink Rhode Island for about 11 years now. And I do media and marketing work for small food and drink businesses. I came to the Small Business Coalition maybe around June or July of 2020, a few months after it was formed by Chris and Lieutenant Governor, then Lieutenant Governor McKee, now Governor McKee. Like Jen, you just stay active and participate and work with a lot of other great small businesses to try and help out everyone in this state that runs a small business. I think the wonderful thing about the Small Business Coalition, as we'll talk about as we go on in the evening here, is it's for every small business. There are a lot of different organizations out there that have dues or membership rules or things of that nature, and sometimes can't represent all small businesses, understandably. So we're trying to be for all small businesses at the coalition.
That's amazing. Jennifer, why don't you tell everybody a little about what the Small Business Coalition does and how it's been received from the small business community through the pandemic?
So we pretty much started meeting weekly with Lieutenant Governor McKee, and we still meet weekly. We meet every Monday via Zoom. Obviously, the governor now doesn't meet with us weekly. He's a little busy. But we welcome all small businesses to join us. We listen to everyone's issues. If they're having difficulties, we try to guide them. And then we're deeply involved with, yesterday I was at the bill signing for the 119 million ARPA funds that was released. David, 13 million of that is for small business, I believe.
32 total, but 13 for grants.
For grants. And then, we're deeply involved with commerce, now getting these grants ready. Both Chris, myself, just giving them input. Had a good conversation with Secretary Pryor yesterday and his commerce team on getting these grants up and running, making it a little simpler, explaining the difficulties that we ourselves have as small business owners, and trying to eliminate a lot of those processes, make it more streamlined for people to apply. That definitely helps. It helps commerce write the grants. It helps the small business owners easier to apply and receive the money. Since my post yesterday of being at the State House, I've answered many small business owners up until late hours, early morning, and just trying to get everybody ready for the next round of grants. Have some information to share with that if you want later. But we stay busy. At the same time, we are still all individual small business owners, so we still have to be at my barbershop cutting hair at the same time. But we make it work somehow. We have it in our calendars. All the guys know we meet ourselves every Monday, and then we have our shows every Tuesday, and David's our host of that. That's every other Tuesday. And it's just become part of our life at this point of maintaining the coalition. We are having open session for our board members. There is an application you can find online if you want to join the coalition, if you want to be a board member. We are always welcome to more small business owners. I personally would love to see more females and more minorities. So just putting that out there. I know the guys agree, but I can't be the only female that they have to deal with.
I agree with you.
We have a couple of them, Jen. I mean, you're not the only one.
No, but I'm the loudest.
You are, yeah, all right.
Well,
I was
Jen,
going to say that, yes.
Yeah. Jen, you can bring me along with you, and I can be just as loud as you can and speak and help out where I can. So you let me know where you need me, and I will join in. David, you were just saying that 32 million is actually going to be for small businesses, but 13 million are going to be for grants. What is the rest of the money going to be used for, and who is this round of grants for?
Well, that's still being decided. It's being fleshed out. There is a large chunk of that 32 million. The majority of it is going to be for support, vouchers and technical support, things of that nature for small businesses. But the General Assembly did carve out 13 of that 32 to give to direct support to small businesses, very similar to the grant program that we did last summer. We put together a grant program with the Commerce Department using the remainder of the CARES Act funds. We helped with the first grant program back in the end of 2019 with CARES Act funds. I'm sorry, 2020 with CARES Act funds, and then did that one in 2021. And so this one should be similar, $2,500 to $5,000 grants. The small amounts, just to help these businesses that are suffering, especially this week and last week. Things are starting to ramp up, unfortunately, with the pandemic again. A small peak, hopefully just a small peak, and that's going to hurt businesses. So they need these small amounts of money to sort of either pay rent or utilities or whatever that a small business might need at this time. So we're going to see that those grants come out hopefully within the next few weeks from Commerce. And then after that, I think the support programs will also be generated for the rest of that 32 million. And then there was also a carve out. The General Assembly carved out. I don't remember exactly how much it was. I think it was 11 or maybe more million for specifically for tourism, hospitality, and events. Tourism has been hit especially hard. Another one of our board members owns a travel agency, and Diane has been really hit hard, as you can imagine, for the last 2 years of people not traveling at all, and so many restrictions like that nature. The cruise industry is a mess. So there is that chunk that was in addition to the 32 that will go towards those industries specifically.
And I've actually been advocating for. I'm sorry, I've been advocating for the travel agency's grants to be a little bit different than ours because they were omitted from so many of the other grants. So we're trying to see if we can get a little bit more bigger grants for them. Nothing is in concrete yet.
Yeah. That's great. I know I heard, and I don't know how true it is, you guys are more boots on the ground, but I heard a chunk of that was supposed to be for ADA compliancy to allow more customers into small businesses and for travel and for tourism. The more people you open your businesses up to and the more accessible you are, obviously the raising of your bottom line. Have you guys heard anything about money being directed towards the ADA compliancy to help small businesses?
I don't know about directly to ADA, but there's certainly a lot of availability for other parts of the funds for housing and support of that nature. So certainly, if it can affect those areas, it can certainly affect how ADA is supported as well. There's no reason why not. And there's nothing to say that a small business can't use their grant towards that either. If it helps their customer flow and their business, obviously a small business is going to do that. So if a small business gets a $5,000 grant and feels that they can use $1,000 of that to install ramps or something of that nature, I'm sure they would.
Yeah, because I know on Federal Hill, right after our big Accessibility is Beautiful event, Federal Hill redid their sidewalks. And one of the big advocacies that we made with Stephen Pryor, Commerce Secretary Stephen Pryor, is to angle the sidewalks right into the businesses. So we went from having 2 businesses that I could access from my wheelchair on Federal Hill to 16. So 14 businesses went where I could at least get in the door. I mean, are they fully ADA compliant? No, but we can get in the door. If we can get in the door, we can bring you more business. We can help raise your bottom line. So I encourage any businesses that can do these small, and there's actually more tax breaks. There is 50% state tax plus another 10% federal to work with this through the Secretary of State's office as well. So I just wanted to throw that out there, that any business that wants to bring in more customers obviously raises their bottom line in the process. Jennifer, tell me how the small businesses have reacted or committed to being part of the Small Business Coalition. Are they welcoming to it? Are they using it? Or how do we get the word out there to them if they're not?
I mean, every small business owner is different of what they need from us or how much time commitment they can give. And then we'll have some business owners that come and go when they have time. We have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have Instagram, and it's just basically, word of mouth. But then we're ourselves are building. We're just at the stage of getting our portal for our membership. That's a huge step that we've been working on. Chris has been working really hard on getting that going, Chris and Sam. And I think that will help streamline our membership. It will give us a lot more buying power for our members to be able to see what value it is to join the coalition. It is free to join the coalition. If you would like to become a paying member, that's how we can grow and prosper. But you don't have to pay anything just to get our updates, our information, or follow us. All of that is free to any small business owner.
That's great.
We should mention we've kind of neglected it, Jen. We haven't said the address is rismallbusiness.org. We should point out to people out there listening, go to rismallbusiness.org and that's how you sign up.
I'm sorry. Usually perfect. Ben does all that for us.
David, I want to talk a little bit about the show that you do every other Tuesday. I know this coming Tuesday will be your show at noontime. And the opposite Tuesday, the Lieutenant Governor comes on and she gives updates to the small businesses in Rhode Island. Tell everybody a little bit about what your show entails and what kind of information they would get by watching that.
Sure. Thank you, Tina. So our show, kind of, as you mentioned, Lieutenant Governor. So if you think back to the beginning of this crisis, unfortunately, the Lieutenant Governor then, Dan McKee, started a weekly Tuesday at noon forum with guests from the small business, SBA, commerce, DBR, things of that nature. And he carried that on for about a year and a half, I'd say, Jen, probably almost a year and a half. Until he was transitioned into being the governor. And when he did that, he passed it off to Sabina Matos when she became lieutenant governor, and she took over this noon program. But because Lieutenant Governor Matos is much more involved with the administration than Governor McKee was, she was only able to do it every other week on Tuesdays. And so the Small Business Coalition saw an opportunity to fill in the opposite Tuesdays and still have these interviews, but instead of doing it in the town hall forum like the governor and lieutenant governor did, we decided to do an interview program, one-on-ones, and that way we could get a little more in depth and talk to more policymakers, elected officials, things of that nature. So we've had all 4 members of the federal coalition delegation. Sorry, on. We've had Senator Reid, White House. Yes, thank you. Congressional delegation. Thank you, Jen. Senator Reid, White House, Representative Cicilline Langevin. They've all been on. We've had Mayors Alorza and Grebian, Picosi, and Mayors from Johnson, North Providence, all over. And then we've also sort of filled in with some members of commerce, DBR, things of that nature, people that the lieutenant governor also speaks to. And we're very excited. We took a short hiatus over the holidays, but we're very excited. We come back this Tuesday, the January 11th at noon, and the governor is going to be our guest for this first show back of the new year. So that's nice. We're going to have a nice conversation with the governor. It's good to, again, I think it's great to have these one-on-ones because we get a little more in depth, a little more than just the shouted questions like a lot of folks have to. Very fantastic journalists, but they have to do that when they see the governor at the State House, things of that nature. They can just get one or two questions out. We get to have a little bit more of an in-depth conversation. I mean, it is very much geared towards small business. We're not running the spectrum of everything that in companies, what goes on in the state. We're very focused on small business, but we've got that opportunity presented to us. So we've got a great lineup of guests. Jen books all the guests. She's fantastic. She really hounds folks until they say yes, we'll do it. And we've got Jen. Do you have the list in front of you? Can you tell who we've got coming up this year?
Yeah, definitely. So that was one of our big announcements. We're going to start off with the governor. We're going to do a little throwback. David's our usual host, and he's amazing at it. We're going to do kind of like you just started with us, Tina, like a little throwback. How did the coalition start? So Chris and I are going to be co-hosting with David and kind of just like.
Don't ruin it, Jen. I was going to surprise. I was going to announce you as surprise guests.
Sorry, yeah, Jen.
Honored
what
VIPs,
people don't see,
I mean, we've got the governor, but we've got Jen and Chris. That's what
People don't usually see the behind the scenes. Chris and I are always behind the scenes, and like I tell the guys, don't bring me out because I don't have hair and makeup ready all the time. I'm usually like at work covered with hair behind the scenes. So so the governor, January 11th, is our first host. And then January 25th, we have the Senate President, Ruggiero, which was a very hard man to book. And I was very persistent with that one. And then February 8th, Rep. Greg Amori, which is running for Secretary of State, I believe. And then February 22nd, Rep. Barbara Ann Fenton Fung. March 8th, State Rep. Scott Slater. March 22nd, we have a representative from SCORE. We also kind of want to add in a little bit more of things that businesses can get resource and help from, not just politicians. So we wanted to throw in a little bit different this year in our lineup. So we have somebody from SCORE. April 5th, we have Doris De Los Santos for Center for Women in Enterprise. April 19th, we have Tomas Avila, the Associate Director of the Rhode Island Office Diversity, Equity, and Opportunity. May 3rd, we have Rep. Blake Filippi, and I just booked while we were getting our technical stuff together. May 31st, Senator Jessica De La Cruz. So we're booked through May right now. And it fills up fast. It is every other week, so it fills up pretty fast. And I'm pretty sure we'll have a great lineup for the rest of the year. So I'm excited to see David mainly on the rest of the shows. I'll chime in a little bit on the first one, but he's so much better at all of this than me.
Thank you.
I'm always usually behind the
you were one of our guests.
Yeah,
Tina, you were
I had the pleasure.
Awesome last minute fill-in.
I
think you were our only non-political guest.
Yeah,
I think you were our only non-political guest of the year.
Yeah. I'm also on Sabina's show as well when she gives all of the updates, because on the opposite week of you guys, Sabina brings in a lot of people about how to apply for the grants and how many grants are open or deadlines. And, she gets to talk to a lot of different people, panel style more, where, you get more in-depth information on, all of the grants and stuff like that. So definitely tune in every Tuesday, because whether it's the Lieutenant Governor or David and the Small Business Coalition, it's definitely well worth it. I know I watch every show every week and I have a lot to say. So if you read through the comments, I always got something to say. So I apologize, but I'm just vocal.
No, don't apologize.
No, it's great. I love that you comment. Yeah. Please always comment.
Yeah, we should mention that we are live on Facebook at noon, and so if you're watching live at that time, you can definitely leave a question. We can't get to them all always. We do have a lot of questions, but we try to take people's questions for our guests as well.
And if you're a small business and you chime in during their show, I know when I've chimed in, I've had businesses and people reach out to me privately, asking me different questions about what I was commenting. So you can publicize your business. You can publicize what you do. You can post a question and maybe somebody will reach out to you, because what the Rhode Island Small Business Coalition does is they want to promote shopping local. We want to promote small businesses. We're here to help you. We're not here to make you go broke. Like when I talk about accessibility and ADA compliance, I'm not doing it because I want to hurt you or have you spend a lot of money. I want to help you bring in more customers and have more better employees, because we employed 15 people from the disability community at businesses that are still holding their jobs today since September. And I've gotten nothing but great responses of employers who are begging for employees. You have a whole pool to deal with and to hire from that don't count it out. You know what I mean? By being accessible and being inclusive, there's a whole nother pool of employees that you can bring in to your small businesses that can help you. And I'll tell you, if someone's going to employ somebody from the disability community, you're going to bring in a lot more people, because they know that you're inclusive. They know that you're accessible. They know that you're welcoming to all. And that's what it's all about. And it's not only the disability community, it's all communities, diverse and inclusion. That is what the last 2 years have been all about. You know, like Jennifer said earlier, we need more women. We need more diversity. We need more inclusion. Well, the biggest minority is the disabled community, and we don't discriminate. We take anybody, and anybody can join us at any time. So that's that people can, be part of. David, what do you feel about something like that? Because I know me and you have had a couple of conversations about it.
Well, I mean, it's to me, it's a no-brainer. Obviously, I think it's any way to increase your customer base, no matter what it may be. Let alone the morality of it is just the right thing to do. I mean, it's also a good business move. It's smart business to increase your customer base. So I agree completely. And anyone watching this who wants to hear, you and I talk about it for a half hour, 40 minutes, they can go to the RI Small Business Coalition Facebook page and listen to our episode. We certainly got into it very much in depth for quite a while there. And it was a great conversation. But I think, you mentioned Federal Hill. My friend Rick Simone runs the association up there. So he was part of that repaving and things of that nature. Yes, it's the right thing to do, but it's just good business. I mean, it's great that all those places can now be accessible by more people. I mean, that's the bottom line for a small business, is to have more business. You talked about labor issues. I think the other thing that people should know about the Small Business Coalition is we work very closely with the Department of Labor and Training on some of their programs to try and get people back to work in the fall when it's a little more difficult. We really are very much integrated because of our work for the last couple of years with the Lieutenant Governor, now Governor, with Commerce, with DBR, with the DLT. I'll just personally say Matt Weldon's one of my favorite people in the whole state government. I'll just go out and say that. Always happy to say that. Not that everyone else isn't great, but Matt's fantastic.
I always say, can Matt write all the grants, please? Can Matt write all the grants?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely true, Jen. You're right. So there's that aspect. We had, when I was going through the list of guests we had before, we had a lot more guests than just the few that I mentioned. We had Speaker Shikarchi on, had a great 45-minute conversation with him back in September, I think it was. And one of our lucky perks of having Jen book all the guests is she's also their barber. So when she's got the speaker in the chair, it's hard for him to say no, right? But no, he was fantastic. We were able to have these conversations with these really important decision makers in the state, and oftentimes, and this is not through any fault of their own, when you're in the General Assembly or your governor or whatever role you're in, there's a million things going on. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, small business is important to us, and just as accessibility issues are very important to you. But there's the environment, there's manufacturing, there's all these things going on that the housing issues, healthcare, that these officials have to think about. And so sometimes when we have the chance to bring up issues, they're not aware of them. Not because they're not trying. There's a lot going on. So we have that fortunate access and ability to get some of these issues in front of these elected officials and point out to them, this is what really is needed for the small business community as a whole.
And the guys
you
joke
find that
around with me. Sorry, I think we have a
do
little
you
of a delay.
Yeah, go ahead, Jen.
The guys joke around with the bill that passed yesterday and like, oh, here's your 13 million, Jen. Here you go. You got it done. And like a lot of people don't see the behind the scenes of like us convincing them why small business needs more help. It's a big part of what the coalition
If only
does.
it was your 13 million, Jen, right?
Like really, can just one check and I'll handle the rest.
Nice. Just give it. Just give you the check and you'll just hand it out.
Yeah. Do you find with this year being election year that there are a lot more open ears to some of these issues? I mean, I know I'm finding that myself because, with by 2030, half the population is going to be using mobility devices between the elderly and the disabled. So if you're not talking accessibility now, you're in trouble. So I'm finding that with it being an election year, everybody wants to talk to me who's running for some kind of office because, they want the elderly and they want the disability votes. Are you finding that on your small business and that you're finding things go through a little smoother because it is an election year? Jen?
Absolutely. The calls that I have to make now are like, I'll get like somebody will say, oh, this person wants to be on the show, and I'm like, why? I always cross check everything with the guys, and I'm like, why? So it's definitely the election year is definitely gonna be crazy.
Yeah,
I think it's important.
Go ahead, David.
I think it's important that we have major candidates on the show and talk to them and get their views so that people are educated and aware. We don't have any one particular tie, but obviously we do have to work with the current administration, so we do want to maintain a good relationship and with all those folks. But yeah, there's definitely we didn't have as many reps last year as we do this year. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Like I definitely find that I affiliate with the group that's writing the checks this year. So I don't politically affiliate at all, but if you're writing me a check, I will politically affiliate with you, kind of thing. But I definitely think that maybe you and I should get together and do, kind of like a hearing or, like a kind of cross and see where each candidate stands, kind of do like a debate between them all at some point before election day on small businesses, on the ADA, on different topics that people want to talk about. I think that would be important to small businesses, who's going to be mayor, who's going to be governor, who's going to be lieutenant governor, and filling all of the slots that are going to make these differences. Would you guys be open to some kind of idea like that?
Well, we already discussed it as a coalition of having all those people on our show to discuss small business directly because, we like we said, we can't tie ourselves to who's in office or, as much as we get along great with McKee and everything, he's not going to be governor forever, So we want to build a coalition to last beyond us, 20, 50, 100 years. So we need to get ourselves set up for that. So we're very open to that, to having all different guests on our show to do that. As far as like what you're saying, a joint thing, I would have to defer to David and Chris. I'm basically just behind the scenes scheduler.
Well, you're being a little modest, Jen, but I think Dina, it is something that we've discussed in kind of broad terms. But the reality is, right now, there's a lot of candidates running. So I think the best thing right now, at least in my opinion, and it'll after the primaries and all in September, it'll whittle down. But then there's a very short window between the primaries and the election. Is I think we got to take advantage of the technology and the access that we have that way, and maybe sent out if you've got 5 or 6 or 10 questions that you think are extremely important for your constituency to know, you should send those to all the candidates and get that in front of all of them. And when we have one of them on our show, we can mention it to them, say, hey, have you heard about this from Ramp, and get them to answer those, and then you could compile them, and that might be the best way, because right now we've got 7 people, I believe, are now running at the moment for governor, so it can get complicated.
Well, after September, we actually we actually have something set up for October. So after the September, primaries, we have something set up in October, and we'd love for you guys to be part of it, so that the Rhode Island small businesses, we're asking different agencies to be part of it, to let the people know as much information as they need to know on every candidate. Like you said, none of us politically affiliated, because like you said, unfortunately, Governor McKee and Sabina, they're not going to be around forever. We're not going to be around forever, but having the right people covering the right things, knowing the right knowledge, I think is going to be good for all of us. Jen, give us the website and how people can join or check out the Rhode Island Small Business Coalition.
David, Rhode Island Small Business.org.
All right, RISmallbusiness.org is the website. And right now, the easiest thing to do is just sign up for our newsletter. And Chris sends that out about every week or every other week, depending on the news. But like Jen mentioned earlier, we've been working on a portal. Jen and I haven't actually. We've been busy with the media side of things. But Chris and Sam have been working on this portal, which will really be a full-fledged communication platform for all small businesses to join up. Like Jen said, it's free. There are membership tiers that you could pay and support the coalition, because we are a 503c6 organization, so we do need to raise funds that way. Though we're hoping to receive some technical support from the state now that there are these technical support grants available, and then we'll keep growing from there. I mean, but RISmallbusiness.org is the best way, and obviously, in this world, you can find the RI Small Business Coalition on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Kazoo. I just made that one up. Should we just
And you can message us on that on all those pages. I think David and I both have access to the Facebook one. We did have yesterday, when I shared about the bill signing, Rosa from the governor's office shared my post and translated it into Spanish, which thank you very much, because I am Latina, but I don't read or write Spanish, sadly. And then I had a small business actually contact me from that post, and I was able to help them and guide them and get them some resources. So
that's great.
All communities are welcome.
Yeah. And you're very responsive, because every time I message you, which is often, you always respond right back to me. So thank you for that. They're very responsive. David, tell the small businesses the biggest important information that they need to know right now. What should they be looking for? What should they be aware of right now?
Well, I think right now the best thing to do is pay attention for this next round of grants to come out, especially if you're a small company. And that's the thing that's key here. We're trying to help businesses that are 1 to 10, 20 employees. We're not talking about small businesses that are 100 employees, which are still considered small businesses in many levels. But we're really focused on the small businesses have been hurt badly by the last 2 years of this pandemic. So I think that grant is probably the thing to pay attention to closest for at the moment. I mean, obviously, I'm a little biased, but obviously I think my interview series is something to watch and keep an eye on. We have had moments on the show where just because of the nature of the constantly changing news cycle, things are announced for the first time ever. I remember actually Speaker Shikarchi announced something on our program that was new that day. Remember what it was, Jen? Now I'm blanking.
That they were gonna meet. That the General Assembly was gonna meet. Mm-hmm.
That's right. He announced that they were finally coming back to for the special session on our show with the Finance Committee to start discussing the ARPA funds. And the ARPA funds is a great story too. I think that's something to pay attention to. Not only is this the 1.13, I think it's 1.13 billion, whatever that large number is that the state gets from the ARPA funds. So the 119 is the 10% right now that's getting carved off that they announced yesterday. But there is another 900 and something million that'll get allocated over the next few years. But each city and town also gets an allocation from the ARPA fund. And that's why we've been having a lot of conversations with mayors, with town councils, to see what each city and town can do for their small businesses in their city and town. So if you're a small business, and when we had the shows, we don't have any mayors scheduled at the moment, but we had those shows with Warwick, Cranston, Johnston, North Providence. if you're a small business in those cities and towns, it was important to pay attention to see what those folks are thinking that they're going to do with their funds as well. So, not to be too obvious about it, but money's important, and so that's I think the most pressing thing at the moment. Jen, do you think there's something else that I'm missing?
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to elaborate a little bit more. So on the first topic of the new grants that are coming out, again, we've been working with Commerce. So I just want the small business owners to get ready to get their Duns and Bradstreet number. A lot of us know what that means now. A lot of them don't. And all of this is free. Duns and Bradstreet is free. SAM.gov is free. Because if you click the first one that says like add, it tries to charge you. So we want to make sure that everyone knows that these services are free. So get your Duns and Bradstreet number. You need that. And then from there, you're going to go to SAM.gov and you're going to register your business, register your entity. And then you get a SAM unique identity number. Then you also get a Cage ID number. So you're going to need all those numbers along with your EIN and all your typical business information. You don't need to have the numbers in order to apply, but if the numbers aren't in there when your grant is granted, they're not going to pay you until you have those numbers in there. So I suggest we have about 13 days, hopefully before these grants open, to start getting those numbers. I actually spend a good part of my day helping some of the small businesses that I help. I have his Duns and Bradstreet number, but I'm trying to do his Sam's number. He doesn't speak English well. He doesn't have an email address, so I do it all for him. And it is a bit of a hassle to get it all done. It is to get to those pages. I actually learned on our coalition call from Lynn, another small business owner, because I was having trouble renewing my entity. Every time I tried to renew it, it was just blocking me. And she actually just blew my mind and said, "Are you using Safari? Don't use Safari. Use Chrome. Use something else." And I took her advice and went to my husband, did it on his laptop and got my SAM.gov re-registered. You have to do this yearly, which is another aggravating thing because this pandemic has dragged on, that now whatever we did for last year's grants have to be renewed. So within this next week and a half, businesses get out there and do your information. I know about a dozen businesses that I personally help are on it and getting their stuff in order. And then the other topic that David was saying, as far as all the people that we have had on the show, the mayors of all the different cities, we're not just here for small businesses, but we're also here for our cities. We have 39 cities and towns, and out of that, only 2 of our cities have come out with small grants from the ARPA funds. And my business is in the city of Providence, and me being in the coalition and everything, had to go meet in City Hall with some of the city council staff, some of the mayor's staff, because even me being a 17-year business owner in the city didn't qualify. I didn't qualify for my own city that I have my business in. And I found it very disheartening. Still, to this point, there's a lot of our businesses that don't qualify because we are micro businesses. That's what they consider us. So for me, it was a big letdown from my own personal city to not qualify, even though I did qualify through the state. And then we had the city of Warwick, had a 38-page application. That's, I feel, a little bit too much. But we have 37 other cities and towns that haven't done anything for small businesses. I find that to be very sad. So to the cities and towns out there, know that the coalition is here also to help you and give advice if they need help coming up with grants, the way we have with Commerce, with DLT. Mark Hayward has been a great resource for us. So we're full of knowledge. We've done this for the last almost 2 years. So if there is a city official that needs help, we're here for that also.
That's great. And, so basically the plea is out there. If you're a small business here in Rhode Island, anywhere here in Rhode Island, in the 39 cities and towns, make sure you're checking out the Rhode Island smallbusiness.org page, because all of the information of all those numbers and everything that you need are on those pages, is in that website, is on their Facebook and on their social media. I know I've been on it. I've been perusing it myself, because there's a lot of things that nonprofits qualify for, because some of them are part, small business or whatever, or like a nonprofit like us, we benefit businesses because by opening yourself up to ADA compliancy, you're opening yourself up to more businesses. When it's to take it outside, stop using the accessible parking spaces and stuff like that. Let us help you free of charge, show you how to do it in a better way so you're not neglecting customers coming into your business while you're taking it outside or while you're doing something different. Make sure that you're being inclusive to everybody. So definitely check out the Rhode Island smallbusiness.org, their website, their Facebook pages, all of their social media. Because like I said, I have learned a lot by checking out all of their pages, and they're fantastic. They do so much for our businesses. And if you don't know how to get in touch with Jen or David, which if you go on the Rhode Island smallbusiness.org, you are, message me and I will definitely put you in touch with these two amazing people, because they're not only my colleagues, they're also my friends. So if you have a question, any question that you don't ask is an automatic no, is an automatic where you're not going to get anything and you're not going to get help. So ask. Don't think it's a dumb question, because I'm telling you, if you have the question, there's somebody else out there having that same question. So you may not only be answering it for yourself, you may be answering it for somebody else. So don't just sit there, ask, find out, reach out to these amazing individuals who are here to help you. They take time away from their own businesses to go out of their way to make sure that they're helping you maintain, because we want to keep as many Rhode Island small businesses open, occupied, and going strong for years to come. That is what they're here for. David, give us your final words and let people know what you want them to know and take from this podcast today as we're closing out the hour.
Well, I mean, you just did a great summary there, Tina. Thank you. I think, rismallbusiness.org is the thing to know. I mean, for Eat Drink Rhode Island, it's drink more local beer and eat more local food and drink in general. So I appreciate everyone out there supporting your local small food and drink businesses. I mean, that they're really suffering in some ways from this. So thank you out there for the support. And rismallbusiness.org is the thing. Thank you, Jen.
I mean, I think I myself have become more shop local. When we had Small Business Saturday, I was out there shopping. I went to David had an event with a lot of his small businesses, and I hadn't planned on going, but he told us about it in the group chat, and I went. And I got a nice little necklace from one of the small businesses. This is actually my son's, but I put it on. But yeah, definitely shop local. Don't be like David, grow some hair so I can have some haircuts to do.
Yeah, I'm a terrible ad for Jen's business. I'm sorry.
David says all the time, when I told him I need to get my hair and makeup done, he's like, I'm ready. He's easy.
Well, you could always trim up. You could always trim up his beard. So, he's got a little bit of hair there. But everybody, listen, go on to the Rhode Island Small Business Facebook page. Post your business on the Rhode Island Small Business page. You got a sale coming up. If you have an event coming up at your business, post it on that page. Let Rhode Islanders know that you're there, that you need the help, and let's support each other. As much as I support Jen and David, they both support me and becoming ADA compliant, and they help me talk to businesses as well. We're all here for each other, and all of us, we do these services free for you guys, because we want you to survive. We want you to thrive. We want you to be around here for a long period of time. So again, it's Rhode Island smallbusiness.org. Go on to Rhode Island Small Business Coalition on the Facebook page. Social media, I believe you're on Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn as well, because I think I've tagged you on all of them, because I am a huge supporter of you guys. I have tagged you guys on all of those social media. And like I said, worst case scenario, message me and I will get you in touch with the right person, whether it be David or Jen, to help you help your businesses. Be aware of those grants that are coming out. You do not want to miss this round of grants. Help you help yourselves. But if you don't ask and you don't reach out and you don't promote yourself, and all of this promotion is free, if you don't get yourself out there, you're not going to survive and you're not going to thrive, because no one's going to know that you're out there. We want to promote you. We want to support you. We want to shop, eat, drink, get our hair cut, get our stuff done at all of your businesses. But if we don't know you're out there, we can't help and we can't support. Any final words, Jen?
I loved having you come to my shop and do your roll through. I thought that was amazing. You gave me some great tips that is kind of weird to say, that you kind of feel like it's common sense, but until somebody comes and tells you, like, why are you doing this? I loved having you, and I am working on expanding the bathroom and making the doors come out. Simple solution to make my bathroom ADA accessible. And I can't wait to get your ramp.
Yes, in the spring, Jen was the winner at our Accessibility is Beautiful event, where she's going to get a ramp for the front of her business. That's going to be one solid ramp to get you right from the street into her business. And I'll tell you, a simple free roll through, giving her some ideas and tips on how to help the disabled community. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It's a rearranging a little bit here and there. Are you fully ADA compliant? No, but are you letting more people in? That is the bottom line. You know, I've had the conversation with David and a lot of the food trucks. Even food trucks can be ADA compliant. Lower your window, have a little sign, have a clipboard, have somebody come out the side door. Simple, quick little things. And it makes all the difference in the world, and very inclusive. Be careful where you park your truck. Make sure it's next to the sidewalk, where people, you know, can get to you. It's simple things, and we do it free of charge. We do not charge anybody to learn about accessibility. We do not report you. We do not charge you. We do not fine you. We come out, we give you suggestions one step at a time to allow more people in your business and to give you a whole new clientele to hire and to have your personnel interact with the disabled community respectfully, personally. And that only brings in more, because I'll tell you, when I roll into your business, I come in with 5, 6 other people with me, because we can't get into personal homes. So if I'm coming to your business, I am bringing a crowd with me. You may want to throw me out because I'm very loud, but that's okay. It's all good. David, any final words?
No, just thank you very much for this evening, Tina. We appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime. So like I said, Rhode Island Small Business.org, Rhode Island Small Business Coalition on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, anywhere you can possibly find them. Reach out, ask the questions, get your answers, get help, and let's support local. Everybody shop local. Rhode Island is important. We are a small but mighty state. Let's keep every business we can around, thriving for 50 years to come. Thank you both so much for taking the time out and sharing all of the information that you have. I look forward to working with you in the future. And as I say every week, don't just sit there, make a difference in Rhode Island. Shop local. Have a great night, everybody.